Find out. The good commissioners in the House, Burl Cain, Commissioner of Mississippi Department of Corrections. You got your breath now. Let's do this. That traffic is murder out there, isn't it?
It was this morning. We kind of jammed us up more than we expected.
All right. The first thing, let's get started off with some good news here. I understand that you guys have got some accreditation, or what happened there. The Parchman prison received from the American Correctional Association.
Right. We were just returned last night from Orlando, and the Superintendent, Mark McClure, and I received the certificate, and it is accredited again, and so that's really good. Some good news this past week with that, because the Jay-Z lawsuit is settled. The Amos lawsuit is settled, so we got by all those things, and so then we had our Freedom Rider dedication, Hezekiah Watkins, and so we have a historical mark at Parchman for that, and they stayed in Old Death Row, but now it's not going to be the Old Death Row. Mm-hmm. We're going to have it open here probably in another 3 months, and so we'll have it where it used to be, and that'll be good, and we'll gain about 50-something beds, so that's good.
This is at Parchman?
Right. We have that. It was a really good cell block, and so we realized we use it when we have execution, so why don't we just put it back in business and get our death row inmates back in a single place like they used to be. So, and we need to use the bed, so that's good, and it's something we don't have to build. It's there, so we spent we didn't spend a lot. We did the repairs ourselves, as we have all our prisons, so we do our own work, because we created our own construction crews with inmates, so we don't have to contract. That's good.
Vast majority of people have never been to Parchman. Thank goodness, one way or the other. But what percentage of that complex is usable?
Well, we have it back to about 2,300 inmates there, and we just slowly putting it back together. It wasn't that it wasn't usable. It wasn't usable because it hadn't been maintained. Mm-hmm. And so we had to fix roofs, we had to do things, fix cell doors and get it back. But for it to be accredited means it's usable, means it passed muster, and means that we don't have to add any other bed. We added them back there, back in 29, some of those. And so Parchman is a totally different place now. That thing is really turned around. It's safe, and we don't have the chaos we had. We have a lot of schools there, a lot of things going on. We're paying the inmates a little bitty payment, and so that's working really well like we thought it would.
You know, kudos to you, because I was thinking about this yesterday. If you take the two most well-known prisons, other than those at Alcatraz or Sing Sing or something like that, in the South, the two most notorious would be Parchman and Gola.
Right.
And you've decided to take a bite out of both of them. So, I mean, and you're making some remarkable strides here. All of these lawsuits and all of this oversight from the federal people didn't start with you. You came into this. What is left out there, Commissioner, that we need to satisfy them as far as their rules and regulations, or to keep us off the naughty list?
Well, I have to give credit to the legislature, the governor, the lieutenant governor, but our criminal justice committees, House and Senate, because they bear with us as we spend money, and because as we become compliant, then the Justice Department doesn't have the issue they had before. And these accreditations, and we have that now at SMCI and CMCF as well, these accreditations mean that we are accredited and we're in compliance really with the Justice Department. So they slowed down, really, I think, and so we just have to wait and see. But we're not going to have the issue that we would have had we not spent the money and done this. For instance, our health care and mental health and addiction programs are fixing to be full force because our prisoners have addiction issues, and that keeps them from being able to work, that keeps them from being able to be productive citizens, and it means that sometimes they don't even want them to come home because they're a burden on their families. So we're fixing that. We want them to be productive citizens and be able to have a job, and that's what we're doing.
How much apart was the understanding from the feds, too, that it's a situation of geography as far as the labor force that you have, no matter what you do, and in some cases, no matter what kind of reasonable salary you pay, you just can't, you can't squeeze blood out of a turnip.
Well, we have to give kudos to the Personnel Board because they've worked with us, as have legislators, and particularly the governor's office, to work to get more pay. So right now we pay we pay $19.35 an hour starting, which is right at $40,000, which is what they pay in Tennessee and Arkansas and around us. But we're finding that we're able to hire more people, and we're moving forward with the number of staff, and we're moving forward really fast because we do these hiring blitzes using probation and parole folks to do it. So I'm not sure we can hire up. I'm hoping we can, and we have the most gain at Parchman of all places.
Well, if you're talking about starting off with $40,000, that's not with all the benefits inclusive, is it?
No, that's just flat cash. And so we did another really neat thing. If you don't come to work, then you get docked 10% of your income, so you lose $21 a day if you don't come to work, if you're starting salary. So that's a good thing, an incentive for them to come to work and not lay out on us.
Is that vacation days the first year, or what? Is that inclusive in that?
It is. So it's good. It's a good gig, and it's a good job. And if you add it up, it's worth over $50,000 in benefits.
Especially for the Delta area. You're absolutely right, because $40,000 jobs up in the Delta area are hard to come by sometimes. What's the number of jobs that are open now? We're talking specifically at Parchman.
Well, at Parchman, I don't know exactly the number now. I would say about 150. Maybe 175. I'll know in a little while when I have my staff meeting at 9:30 this morning. But it's probably, we're about half staffed up. We need to have 1,900 correctional officers. According to our consultants in the Justice Department, and we're probably about 1,300. So we're not where we need to be yet, but we're moving there.
I do want to ask you about this. Any of the bills that you want to spotlight here that are working their way through the 2023 session that stayed alive after yesterday?
Well, the thing is, I wasn't here yesterday. I got in last night, so I'm not up to snuff on on the legislation too much.
I had one here. I'm trying to find it. I put so much stuff here. Was the prison industries bill that was set forth. You may or may not know about that one, but it did survive, and I don't know exactly what that was about. Do you?
Well, I know that it was about cleaning up the other bill we had last year to get it really more appropriate. And the prison industries is working really well with the nonprofit, and it's allowing us to build churches faster using the nonprofit, which is a benefit to the inmates and so forth. So the one starting at Parchman, the one at CMCF will be finished in March. And so I just talked to Ruth Graham. She's going to come down here, Billy Graham's daughter, and she's going to be she's going to preach the dedication and be here for that. And she's been doing programs with our women by video, and so that's been a good thing. So she's
a heck of a mission she's got. She was on the air with us the last time, and love to have her back.
Right, she really loves our women, and she's taking a big interest in them, as is a lot of people. So more programs means less violence.
Any other bills that you want to spotlight here, just while we have a second?
No, I don't know enough about them to really get into it. Since being gone, I left last week to go there. We spent about 4 days, 5 over the weekend, but it's just holding good. We've met with Representative Horan. I've been in communication with Senator Bonnet yesterday, so we're just counting along to see what comes along. We don't really have anything we're pushing. We had to tweak the prison enterprise bill, or the one you just referred, and that's what they were doing when he did that. They were just kind of correcting some language in it, I think.
Commissioner, on all of the brouhaha we had out of the Bell possible pardon, the parole board was brought up, was in the news for quite a while. Any bills or anything as far as the parole board that you want to talk about?
Well, we met yesterday, and the parole board chairman and I talk often, and I think he's up to paroling a little over 50%, but his problem was us more than anything else, in that we have to get people prepared for parole. We have to have an address, we have to have a birth certificate, we have to have a driver's license, and kudos to Commissioner Tyndall, because he's worked with us so that when an inmate leaves, they have a 6-month driver's license if they had one before they came to prison, and if we can teach them how to drive, and so then we're ready to go with that. So we got you ready to go to work when we get out, and then we're hiring people to actually find the job and get out there in the field and say, this inmate's a skilled tradesman in this skill, and so do you need him? Well, then they'll hire him, and so that's good. We think they will, and we hope they have jobs.
Yeah, we got another segment coming up here. So you're basically saying that the miscommunication between the parole board and the Department of Corrections is being satisfied or fixed?
Yeah, we need to talk a little more about that when we come back.
Okay, let's do that. Final segment again coming up in a moment or two with Commissioner of Mississippi Department of Corrections, Burl Cain. That is next. The guy who was at one time experiencing the how do we put this, the hospitality of Parchman as an inmate for a while. Our friend Mark the Mule Man Massey, what is it, Mojo working? Mark the Mule Man Massey, that's who he is. As a matter of fact, has the distinction of being the only white guy with a trail marker out as far as blues is concerned, but he's been on the air with us a couple of times and a great guy. Mark Mule Man Massey. All right, let's get back to this. We were talking about the parole board. Right. And finish that up because we had some problems, and we keep hearing this, the communications between the Department of Corrections and the parole board, and you take it from there.
Yeah, we don't have a problem with that because he and I are working closely together. Mm-hmm. What we're going to do is presumptive parole, and that's something the legislature approved a while back, a few years ago, and we didn't do it. And so that's where you do certain things when you come to prison and you have a case and you do all these things, then you can go before the parole board once you've completed that. And so that's a good deal, and so we've set that up to start April the 1st. And so Chairman Belk is 100% on, and we meet weekly to discuss these things. And so we've helped him staff up, too, to get more staff. So we're really working really close together. And yesterday we had a meeting as soon as I got back. And so we had it's really working out so that if he's up to 60 to 50%, then that's 1 out of 2 that comes before him gets parole, then that's a good thing. And it's only moving to be more. So we want as many people as we can to change their lives and get out here and have a job. When we get them prepared for that, and we are really rolling on that, then they're going to get paroled if they worthy at all. And then we always have to remember that victims trump, though, too, and we have to take in consideration victims.
I understand that. But are you saying that there's some people who merit a parole and they're being overlooked because of paperwork or red tape or whatever?
No, I wouldn't say that. It's not overlooked. It's underprepared. And so that's just what we came into with MDOC to get everybody right because you had a revolving door in and out, in and out, in and out. And so that meant you had more victims. So we don't want the victims. So we want you to get out and stay out. And then therefore we don't have the bed problem that looked like we were going to have, but I don't think we are. So we're in pretty good shape there. We just opened up more Walnut Grove to 1,200 beds. So we're moving on, but it's going. Gang people are going there, so that's the only ones that go there normally. Other than that,
is the narrative or the buzz still there for the possibility of building a new prison? Is that still working its way through the conversations as far as the legislature is concerned?
We're not pushing that right now at all because we still have capacity, and so we're having to deal with the Justice Department. Maybe, but we're not pushing it, and that's not us, and so we're holding our own and repairing what we have because that's faster. A new prison is 3 years or 4 years away. True. So to repair what you have, and then you have it now. Like, for instance, you could add a dormitory to an existing prison and not have to build all the infrastructure as far as business office, wardens, and all its staff. You just build another part of the prison and add that way, and that's faster, too. Cheaper.
We only have a few seconds left here because of the traffic. Stole a little bit of that, but I want to make sure that you mention things that are most important on your list.
Most important thing on my list is getting our schools going. We just opened up at Delta, moved our women there. We moved 300 of them there, and so we'll have almost 600 in another couple of 3 months. And then we've increased capacity that way. And we're preparing people for jobs. And Bradley Lum is working really hard. We have a big cadre of people to actually find you a job. We have 30 probation parole officers that's committed to this. So when you get out, you don't come back to prison. And we prepare you with your addiction problem. And that's what we're doing. And one at Walnut Grove is tremendously successful. And we know we can do this.
Is that rate of recidivism going down, Commissioner?
Not yet, but it is. For instance, the one at Walnut Grove that's been released, yes. And so little pieces.
Do you have better luck with women than men on that?
You know, I hate to say this. I better not say it. But anyway.
Well, first of all, me just saying that if you have better luck with women didn't sound right. So
We're really working hard on them because they're different as far as prisoners. And I always would say I don't want to be the warden of a women's prison, but anyway, we're dealing with that, and so women are doing well, and we have they have different skills. And for instance, we moved the welding trailer is at Delta where the women are. So they really are skilled welders and learning to do that. But we have a whole bunch of schools going in Delta, and they'll be open in March. That's good.
So you have at least the offer there, trying to work with you to train you, to give you a job, to find you that job, to provide some modicum of support, like things like a driver's license. All you got to do is have a commitment and do a little work on your own. Is that it?
Exactly, and that's what we're doing, and they are getting motivated. And don't forget the morality. We're pushing that really big. Our church will be built.
Let's do this. The next time you come on, let's do an hour because it passes by too fast.
It does.
You got it. Commissioner, always good seeing you, sir. Looking good.
Thank you.